You do believe that aliens do exist?
What I'm telling you is real. The question is, what is it? What are its intentions? What are its capabilities?
The aliens are not there. The aliens are here. They're among us.
If there's another thing, my gosh, there's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
We just had something go right over the top of us. I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object. It almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour, that it can evade radar, and that can fly through air and water and possibly space. And oh, by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet still can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're seeing.
I get a lot of emails, and some of them say, Professor, you're wrong. You're totally wrong. The aliens are not there. The aliens are here. They're among us. And how do they know? These people claim that they've been kidnapped. They've been kidnapped by aliens, and they've been in the flying saucers. When you're walking down a forest and you meet a squirrel, do you go down to the squirrels and talk to it? Well, maybe initially, hey, hi, squirrel. But eventually you get bored, because the squirrel has nothing to say to you. If we are the squirrels and aliens from outer space land on the Earth, what do we have to offer them? Shakespeare? Well, maybe they don't understand English. What do we have to offer them? Gold? Gold means nothing to them. In fact, gold is rather a useless metal for an advanced civilization. What do they want? To eat us? We're not going to be made out of the same DNA. They're not going to want to eat us or mate with us or do anything with our genome. We're totally different from them. So I think for the most part, they'll leave us alone. They'll say, oh, nice squirrel, and leave us alone.
There are really only three possibilities of what this could be. And the first possibility is that it is some sort of secret US tech that somehow we have managed to keep secret even from ourselves for a long period of time. The second option is that it's some sort of foreign adversarial technology that has somehow managed to technologically leapfrog ahead of our country, despite having a fairly robust and comprehensive intelligence apparatus. And of course, the third option is something quite entirely different. It's a different paradigm. That is not our technology. And that's hugely important. And I think we're now beginning to learn, as we've heard from the Director of National Intelligence, and I can certainly tell you from my experience, that we're pretty confident that it's not Russian or Chinese technology. Furthermore, if you had this type of technology, you probably wouldn't need to invest so much in military, because you had this, if you will, checkmate type technology or capability where everything else now becomes obsolete.
You do believe that aliens do exist? That's a check, right?
Yeah, that's a check. There's a group called the METI Project, which deliberately sends signals into outer space saying, here we are, here's what we're like, this is what we can do, and visit us sometime. I think that's a bad idea because we don't know what their intentions are. Maybe they've been scanning us. Maybe they know pretty much what our technological development level is. They know a lot about us, our language, our culture. They're pretty advanced. But for the most part, we're not interesting to them. But one day, if we advertise our existence and reveal how much we have, resources, minerals, perhaps things that are of value to an alien civilization. So I think for the most part, it's a bad idea to advertise our existence to aliens in outer space. In other words, maybe we're off the radar. Let's keep it that way for a while.
Do I feel or do I believe this is, quote, extraterrestrial? Let me be very careful before I answer that by saying, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think or what I believe. What matters is what the data and the facts tell us. And from that perspective, it's very important that I had a very simple job, and that is to collect the truth and speak the truth. We are human beings that a lot of people in psychology refer to as cardiosocial animals. Means we look at things in extremes because for the first 9 months of our existence, we were in our mother's womb and we heard that binary heartbeat of our mother. And so we tend to look at the life, if you will, and our universe in that binary way. But in reality, the universe and physics isn't binary. It's not binary at all. In fact, there's all sorts of options and opportunities of what this could be. Is it from here or is it from out there? We don't really know. In fact, there's lots of other options on the table. It could be from, as I've said before, it can be from outer space, inner space, or the space in between.
I think aliens probably have more important things to worry about, because if you are a person walking in a forest, there are lots of forest animals out there. Some forest animals are probably more interesting than squirrels. And so I think there's a lot more interesting things for them to be preoccupied with. And so I think for the most part, we should lie low. You know, we've analyzed 4,000 planets so far, 4,000, of which roughly 20% seem to be Earth-like. Now that expanded to the galaxy means that there are billions of Earth-like planets, maybe a little bit bigger than the Earth, but billions of Earth-like planets out there. To assume that we're the only one, I think, is the height of arrogance. Many of my friends, you know, they're all physicists. When you talk aliens to them, their eyes kind of like roll up into the heavens and they start to shake their heads. That's the giggle factor. That whenever you talk to them about that, and why do they giggle? They say the distance between stars is so great, it would take hundreds, thousands of years for them to reach us. But you see, that assumes they are 100 years ahead of us. And of course, 100 years ahead of us, a civilization like that cannot reach the Earth. But for the moment, think of what could happen if they are 1,000,000 years ahead of us. If they are 1,000,000 years ahead of us, and our science is only 300 years old, 300 years ago we lived in witchcraft, sorcery, magic. That's where we were 300 years ago. If they're 1,000,000 years ahead of us, which is a blink of an eye, because the universe is 13.8 billion years old, then think that their understanding of the laws of physics would be completely different from our understanding of the laws of physics. You see, our understanding of the laws of physics break down at the instant of creation, the Big Bang, and the center of a black hole. We don't know anything about the center of a black hole or the instant of creation. New laws of physics open up, perhaps wormholes, gateways that allow us to go faster than the speed of light. And so get rid of all your prejudices that they can't reach us because they're only 100 years ahead of us. If they're 1,000,000 years ahead of us, new laws of physics begin to open up.
As we begin to learn what quantum physics is, and we begin to understand our place here on this little planet, we begin to realize that there's a lot of other options. We judge the universe in 5 fundamental senses, the ways that we perceive the universe. And if you can't use those senses to look at something or measure it, then we really can't interact with it. And yet we know the majority of the universe around us, 99% of it, in fact, is not perceivable. There are right now Wi-Fi signals coursing through your body. There's cosmic radiation coming in from the cosmos. There's neutrinos coming in from the sun. There's radar hitting you from the local airport. And yet these are all realities, and you can't interact with it because we just don't have the tools to do so. Take a beautiful night sky, look at the stars, and you might say, wow, that's really a pretty sky. But if you now take a radio telescope and look at that same spot in the sky, all of a sudden you begin to see things that you couldn't see before. You see in the ultraviolet, you see in the infrared spectrum, you see nebula. So I guess my long-winded point to all this is that we must keep all options open. If we already know that 99% of the universe we cannot perceive or interact with, then there may be other options here. This may not necessarily be something from outer space. In fact, this could be something as natural to our very own planet as us. We're just now at a point where we're beginning to technologically be able to interact and collect data. This could be something from under the oceans. This could be something from outer space. This conversation is shifting from a human technology, quite possibly, we don't know for sure yet, but to something far more profound. We are quite convinced that we're dealing with a technology that is multi-generational, several generations ahead of what we consider next generation technology. So what we would consider beyond next generation technology, something that could be anywhere between 50 to 1,000 years ahead of us. And these things have a tendency to be seen in and around water, which kind of leads to one of the observables that we've had. There's 5 distinct observables that set this technology, as I mentioned earlier, aside from everything we have in our inventory. The first is hypersonic velocity, the ability to change directions instantly. And when I say instantly, I mean human beings can withstand about 9 G forces. Some of our best aircraft can withstand about 16 Gs. These things are doing 300, 400, 600 Gs in mid-flight. Then there's hypersonic velocity. That is speeds that by definition are Mach 5 or above. Very, very fast. We do have some technology. You mentioned Russian hypersonics and things like that. You know, there are technologies that can go that fast, but then again, you don't expect a hypersonic aircraft to do a 90-degree turn. To put that into context, our SR-71 Blackbird, when at 3,200 miles an hour, wants to take a right-hand turn. It takes roughly half the state of Ohio to do it. You don't expect it to just kind of do this. And that's precisely what we're seeing. And then the third observable is a bit like cloaking. We call it low observability. But the fourth observable is what we were talking about, and that's transmedium travel and water. The ability for an object to fly not only in our atmosphere, low and high altitudes, but also potentially in a vacuum environment like space and even underwater. Now, we do have vehicles that can do that. We have, for example, a seaplane. A seaplane is a plane that can fly and it can float on the water. But when you look at it, it's neither really a very good aircraft or a boat because it's a design compromise. And yet what we are seeing are objects that can operate in all these domains or all these environments, seemingly without any type of performance compromise. And so why are we seeing these things around in and around water is something that we're really kind of scratching our heads with, because we've seen these things. They've been recorded not only in our atmosphere, but there is data to suggest that they have also been tracked by some of our capabilities underwater as well, and being able to perform in ways that frankly exceed anything that we know on the planet right now.
We hope you found this video valuable. Let us know what your opinion on all this is down in the comments section. And don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more content just like this.